she went back and apologized to her daughter for
Wow.
forcing her. Oh, I'm getting all emotional about it. For
Wow.
forcing her into a box that she was never meant to be in. But once mom understood, oh, this is who she is, she felt the need to apologize. Everything shifted, of course, and their relationship improved after that.
Wow. That's amazing. That's
Go
amazing.
mom.
3 things you will learn on this podcast. Identity shifts are a lifelong process, not a single moment. Other people's judgments and compliments are a reflection of them, not you. And action before readiness is the real breakthrough. What do you get when you combine a strengths coach who helps you stop second guessing yourself, a mind-body alchemist who helps you love yourself first, and 2 women on a mission to prove your best chapter is still ahead? You get Teresa and Diane Amelia. Hello, I'm so glad you are here. I have Teresa and Diane Amelia with me today. And this is the first time for me to have more than one guest on at the same time. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Teresa and Diane Amelia run a business together, and I'll let them talk to you about how all that works because I'm just going to skip to the headline. They've never met in person. This is so fascinating why I love these ladies. All right, so here we go. Who's going first? Who won the Rochambeau? What's going on?
I guess I will start since that was somewhat of our plan. And we were talking about identity shifts and not being labeled or labeling ourselves or fitting into boxes. We've had these conversations prior to our discussion here. So one of my things that I remember in my life, and I know there were many identity shifts. Some of them were intentional. Some of them were forced upon me. Some of them, I just had to accept. And I just remember being a young mom. I was only 23, which is really young to me right now. And I had a new little baby, and I had no clue who I was in that moment, in that role. I had no concept of what it was to be a mom. What am I supposed to do? How do I think? How do I relate to other people? And I just could not figure that out. It took me a long time to make that shift and grasp onto that role of being a mom. So I had to have this gradual process of reinventing myself as a mom. And it was a slow progression. It didn't just happen overnight. I was very well aware of this identity shift, this role change taking place as I was moving forward into momhood. It was very poignant, very in my face at that point in time.
Do you think any of that was postpartum depression? Something that
I
wasn't
had
being
not
talked
made it
about
to
back
that point
then?
yet. That came later, but it
Yeah.
was not at that moment in time that I had any awareness around, we shall say.
Yeah.
So it just seems to me, all of us, especially women, our entire life, we are moving through all these identity, either recreations or shifts, or, that's just the story of our lives. Do you guys agree or not? Is that, and we don't even really understand and realize that's what we're doing.
Yeah. It's just an evolving process, an ever evolving process. 100% agree. Do you want to continue from there or should we jump to Diane Amelia?
I have a question for you, Teresa. Did you have young friends who were also becoming moms? Did you have
No.
an idea of what it was supposed to feel like, or
No,
just into
none.
the deep end?
I was pretty alone at that time. I mean, my family was my lifeline, my in-laws and my parents, and My sisters were not in the area. They were out of state. They had lived out of state for quite a while. I felt like I was just going through this alone, like the first time anybody ever went through motherhood, which I knew wasn't true. But to me, it felt like, oh man, I just had to feel my way through, and, it all worked out, obviously, but the depression didn't really kick in till 2 kids later.
We won't tell them. I
what
totally
did you?
identify. Yeah, I identify with that because I became a mother at 26 and I was the
Mhm.
youngest of my friends who had a baby.
Mhm.
And I think part of what saved me actually was the fact that I left her dad when she
Mhm.
was about 6 months old. I became a single mother, which is very challenging. But the one thing about being a single mother, I'll tell you, if you've got a dad who's taking them on the weekends, you get a break. When you're in a couple, right, you never get a break from being
Yeah.
mom. But I was like, okay, now I get to go have adult conversations with people and probably drink a little too much, but whatever, take her. Keep her safe. I'll see you on Sunday night. So I had a little pressure valve release from that, but it was difficult because it was just me and it was me and a baby in a house
Yeah.
alone.
Yep.
I was like, all I did was
Yeah.
talk to my baby all day
Yep.
long.
Yep. Totally
So,
remember that.
and your friends can't identify because nobody's
Correct.
going through it. And so that
Correct.
is a difficult, and I was always the youngest mom, right? And so
Mhm.
everybody was always older than you. So you didn't really have the same things in common with the
Yeah,
other
correct.
mothers.
Like I just got out of college, got married, had a kid. Boom, boom, boom. So that was a couple of identity shifts really close together there.
Yeah.
College, in a relationship, a legal relationship, and then boom, have a kid. Now that I think about it and say it out loud, like, yes, that was in rapid succession. And so, yeah, nobody else was keeping up with me. And so I didn't have a support group. I didn't have other young moms my age. So, yeah, it was a lonely time. I will say that.
Yeah. I get that. All right,
And-
spill your dirt, Diane Amelia.
I was on the complete opposite of that. I'm very clever. I have no kids, but 3 grandsons. So
Nice.
I skipped
I
the
love
hard work
it.
of parenting, left that to my husband, and just came swooping in when it was time for the next generation to start having littles. But a big identity shift for me that really wasn't that big for me, but from the outside, it looked like it was big. When I was in high school, I had boyfriends, but there was one girl in my high school that always made me a little sweaty and nervous because she was cool. And I had my first girlfriend in college, and that seemed like it was going to be my trajectory. And I moved to Boston after college, fell quite in love with a wonderful human being. And we were together for 13 years. And here I was growing up in the Midwest, where at the time where gay life just wasn't on the table, it was not in the ethos like it is so much, and rightly so now. So I grew up thinking I'd get married, have kids, and that's how it works. So even when I was with my partner, I thought, okay, well, I've got a partner. Now we're going to have kids. And she's like, oh, hell no. Because she was the youngest sister, and her older sisters were 9, 11, and 13 years older than she. So she did a lot of babysitting and caretaking for her nieces and nephews. And she was like, yeah, been there, done that, moving on. And so I had to look for myself and answer for myself, do I want kids? And the answer to that question ended up being, I to this day, I don't feel like I'm old enough to have kids. Like, I'm 68, just like, no, not ready for that.
I wasn't old enough either, let me tell you. I'm
No,
still not old
we
enough.
never are. We never are.
I know, I get that. But what I learned is I love having kids, young people in my life. I love being the trusted adult, the trusted non-parenting adult. That is such a special role, and I love that. Unfortunately, my relationship of 13 years did not last, and like we really thought it would. And I met a guy, and I was like, huh, okay. And what we had in common is Brazilian music. And I mean, now he's my husband. So it's not a mystery how that story played out. But I'm from the US. He was born and raised in the Caribbean. He's older than I am. I'm a female. He's a male. That was new for me. So in the evolution of our relationship, as I was trying to wrap my head around finding my place in this relationship, if we would argue or something, it'd be like, huh, is this because we're from different cultures or a little bit different age? Or is this a male thing? Or is this just you, like straight up you? I don't know. And so it was a lot of mental and just a lot of finding. But meanwhile, people looking at me are like, well, are you straight now?
Yeah.
Why? Why is that important to you?
Wow.
Yeah, it's just like even now, I know there are so many words to allow a wide range of life experiences for people in terms of their partnering, their sexuality, their personal relationship with their identity. And for me, I will say no thank you to all the words. It's just like, please don't put a label on me to make me easier for you to pigeonhole. Let me just go on doing my thing. I'm over here being fluid. And thank you very much. Leave your yellow stickies off of my forehead.
Oh my God, I love that.
I love that.
And you know what?
Burn that and burn that one and burn that one.
You know what else I love is you said human being. I was married to a human being. You're now married to a human being, a different one. And I love that it didn't matter what gender that human being was.
As it turns out, and my takeaway is gender for me is not a sorting criteria.
Yes.
Period.
Period.
Love that.
And it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
Because gender is not,
it's not great. It's
scientific, right? It's a construct.
Yeah.
And it's so blurred now. It is so blurred. I so applaud every young person or older who is coming in and blurring that for us.
Yes.
Yes, it's hard for us who's been around a while, who've seen like the before and the after. It's hard. Like I said, you want to label, you want to classify. That's our way of trying to comprehend what's happening. But when I realized like that gender is being blurred, like I almost like applauded them, like you go, like we need this.
You.
Yeah, exactly.
Because no matter what the expression is, when someone is living their authenticity, it gives tacit permission for all of us to do that.
Yes.
Yes. And every generation is meant to challenge, right? They're going to push against the edges of the walls that are boxing them in, right? And every generation does it. And so the generations before can either embrace it and rejoice with them and celebrate it, or they can resist and get, rigid, and which is not the way I want to be, that's for sure.
Right.
Rigid bones break. So I'd like to be flexible.
Yes.
Yeah. So I love that. That's such a great. And so for you, it didn't feel like any major thing had occurred. It was just fluid and part of evolution, but the outside world experienced it as something
I will say
boring.
It was absolutely devastating and I say marriage, gay marriage was not legal then, but we did have a ceremony and I felt her my wife. And when that ended, it was so hard.
Oh,
But my next partner choice for me it wasn't like I'm going to go make a big change now. It was just my path. And
Right.
yeah, you're both right. Other people were really eager for me to label it, to name it,
Yeah.
but like I said, I was just walking my path.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Following your
That's
bliss,
beautiful.
as they say. But the
Absolutely.
labels, you said, to make it easier for them to wrap their head around it. It had nothing to do with you. It was all about them.
And that's what we all need to learn, right? People's
Mhm.
perceptions of us and people's judgments of us are not about us.
Yes.
And we take it personally, but how to strip away that shield where we're taking it personally and just say, just bounce that shield up and say, this isn't about me, it's about you. This is a reflection of you.
Yeah.
Right? For some reason, I'm some mirror, but it has nothing to do with me.
That's exactly right. And
Yeah.
so you've probably read The Four Agreements, which is
Yes.
the book that, the tiny little book that illustrates this so beautifully.
Yeah.
And for me was a really interesting takeaway from that book is that when people say things to you, as you rightly said, it's only a reflection of them. And that's when you get compliments or you get snark. Either way, just like don't get all built up because somebody thinks you're amazing or gorgeous or brilliant.
Yeah.
It feels good to hear that. But again, it's a reflection of the other person, which I think is so interesting.
And when I first heard that, I remember where I was teaching at the time. We had a speaker on stage in front of the student body saying something along that line. It was just like mind blowing to me that somebody is projecting onto me what's inside them, or everything's a mirror of who we are. Yeah, it was hard to wrap my head around at that point in time.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to look at it from a complementary standpoint because I always think I look at the negativity they project. I've never thought about the compliment being a projection of them too.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Now I'm going to woo, that's going to play in my head for a minute for sure. How do you take a compliment that's not really about you? You just say thank you, but then you're like,
Yeah, well, you can accept it, but you don't have to own it.
Right.
And just when the flip side happens, it doesn't feel good to get spewed on, but you don't have to take it personally.
Right.
Either way, it's about them.
Wow.
Interesting.
That is.
Wow. Well, we're just going to sit with that for a while. In the meantime, I'll be calling you in 2 weeks going, my mind is so messed up. Maybe I'll sleep better. Who knows? Yeah. Wow. Okay. So let's talk about what came next. How you really learn to stand in that space where there's no labels, there's no judgment, there's no, how do you progress forward from that?
I have a thought, if I may.
Yes.
Because outside folk, they'll do what they do. But for me, the hardest labeling comes from myself.
Yep.
And I'll just give one relatively quick illustration. I met my husband playing Brazilian music. He was the leader of a percussion group, Brazilian percussion. And so that's how we met. So for me, he was just Jeff the Samba guy for a long time. But then I joined a different group that had singers. And in my young life, I'd had some really berating experiences from adults around singing, around piano playing, and then in no uncertain terms, girls don't play drums. So, one, to join this percussion group felt like a little bit naughty, but also it felt like uh, alignment for me. But I joined another group, and again, this is all Brazilian music. This group had singers, and they sang, the songs were in Portuguese. And of course, because I am a singer, even though I had paralyzing stage fright and was not going to let anybody hear me no how, no way sing, I was out memorizing these songs phonetically because I didn't speak Portuguese. And then one night at a rehearsal, the singer didn't show up. And the leader turned to me and he said, "Do you know this song?" And I was just, I felt so busted. And all I could do was nod my head. And he said, "Well, get up there and do it." And I knew in that moment, if I didn't, that it would make me sick for the rest of my life. So I got up there and I did it. And that was me changing my own identity in one flash decision. I went from somebody with paralyzing stage fright to somebody singing into a mic in front of a band in a language I don't speak. It's like, wow. But I walked out of that rehearsal completely re-identified.
Wow.
And then ended up having my own band for 13 years.
Wow.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I could have kept my stage fright identity, but it was so uncomfortable and so malaligned with my love of performing and singing and all of that. So I just gave myself a swift kick in the ass and did it. And I'm so glad I did.
That. I love that. I'm so glad you did. Just so you could tell us the story and we can help people get out of their own ways. I love that. Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Say yes to the scary thing.
Yes, for sure. And go through that fear and that discomfort. Yeah. And I love that it happened like that. Like you either say yes or you're going to regret it the rest of your life.
Right. And how to step fully into that moment, right?
I think if I'd had time to think about it, I might have wiggled my way out.
Right.
So was that a rehearsal or a performance night?
It was a rehearsal.
Okay.
But believe me, in my mind, it was...
There were 1,000 people watching.
It was Carnegie Hall.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No, I get that. It's like karaoke. I'm all great in my shower, and then I'm like, oh God, I'm withering away in the background. I gotta go.
Yep.
There's only 10 people here, but I don't care. There's somebody else in the room. That's all that matters. Wow, that's incredible. I love that story.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, we spend a lifetime creating those fears for ourselves or living in those fears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You nailed it. We create it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm watching myself go through something like that. And I'm outside of my head going, my head's doing its thing. And I'm up here watching it going, how do I stop the noise? How do I turn this stuff off? How do I rewire my brain right now? Because it's a hot mess in there right now. I'm like, okay, well, whatever you're doing, just figure it out.
It's almost like action. Like action might stop that. Like for you, Diane Amelia, you had to take that action to bust through that fear, like immediately, without your head getting in the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Teresa, you've got great tools through your strengths coaching to help get out of our own way. And I know you were talking earlier about when you, like, speaking of a new identity, when you started learning about yours.
Yeah, I'm learning about mine right now. Somebody just recently, I did that with someone recently. It is fascinating. So yes, I would love for you to share
It is fascinating.
your journey with that, because you
Well,
do this professionally for people, right?
Yes. That's my coaching process or modality, whatever you want to refer to it as. So I had known about the strengths, floated in and out of them for several years before I really committed to learning more about them. But I remember being on a Zoom call. My mentor was randomly choosing people from the group, and he would hear your lineup of strengths and he would tell you about yourself just based on what was in front of him. And so he spoke about a person that sounded wonderful, and oh, I'd love to know this person, and oh my gosh, it was just, this person is brilliant and shiny and blah blah blah. And he was talking about me, but I had never heard myself spoken about in that way, and I certainly did not talk about myself or think about myself that way. And it was so impactful for me, like, who is he talking about? Like, and it was me, but he was probably right on, but I was not ready to accept it fully, what he was saying. And it was empowering and confusing all at the same time. Whoa, that's me? Like, wait, what? And it was hard for me to accept. I mean, I did eventually, I obviously have accepted it, or I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. I would not be here right now if it wasn't for the fact that I was able to accept and lean into and own my strengths, or my superpowers, as I like to call them. But it was just that feeling was like of awe, like, whoo, wow. So of course I want to gift that feeling to other women so they could see their value, see who they really are, their authentic selves, and remove all of the crap that we put in our own way, and then be able to own those and lean into them and leverage them and use them to help them in all aspects of their life. So it was, and I've seen other people very impacted by having an outside person reflect back to them who they are. And it can be very emotional for people.
Wow. So do you have other people who struggled with it like you did a little bit, where it's like, what do I do with all this information?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Within our strengths community, who we've evolved over the years together. Yes. And I've seen lots of awesome new identities emerge from that group because
Nice.
they learned and they leaned into and they loved their strengths. They learned to love themselves more just because of that knowledge about their authentic superpowers.
Maybe that's what I'm going through right now. Fighting against all those things I'm learning. I'm like, ugh. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky.
Yeah, if you're feeling self-doubt, like I didn't believe I had value. Like I was always struggling with my own self-worth. I mean, that had been an ongoing theme for most of my adult life, despite the fact that I had an awesome life. I had a teaching career, a wonderful family, but I still had this thought in the back of my head, like, yeah, you're still not as good as everybody else, And so I even went through different modalities to try to get rid of that's lack of self-worth, and nothing quite did it like the strengths. Understanding my strengths did it for me.
Nice. I think I've done some modalities for that, and and that's the thing, is I fundamentally recognize that I was born worthy now. I understand that, but it's like waiting for the conceptual understanding to drop into the heart, right? And so I think that there's sort of this disconnection that I still need to sort of, because I can get in my head and I can like, yeah, conceptually I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like until it sort of lands inside of me, in that emotional heart space. It's like,
Yeah. It's a
yeah.
process.
And
But
so
me
it's
and
like this person, I'm just observing this person just going,
yeah,
what is happening,
yeah,
girl?
yes, that's exactly it. And I know
Yeah.
me and Diane Amelia talk a lot about permission, giving ourselves permission. You know,
Yes.
maybe it would behoove you to give yourself permission to accept all that information and be more comfortable with it. I
Yeah.
don't know, just a thought.
Permission's a great word, actually. When I left my daughter's dad when she was young, I sought out a therapist, and because I was going through these like emotional pendulums
Mhm.
between, having the best thing that ever happened to me, and this overwhelming joy to being in this verbally abusive relationship with someone. And so my emotional pendulum was going from total bliss to full on rage, right? And so I found a therapist, and when I walked in that day, I said, I'm in a verbally abusive relationship. I have a 6-month-old daughter. I need permission to leave and a plan. I literally told her I needed permission to leave because I tried to leave him so many times, right? That's what happens on that sort of cycle of abuse when you're in it. It's kind of hard to get dislodged. Like I had left him a million times, but it never stopped.
Mm.
And so, yeah, she was like, okay, tell me your story. I told her my story. She goes, you have my permission to leave. And here, within that 15 minutes, I had a plan. She was like, don't do anything till he goes to work. Then get the hell out of there. And so, yeah, it was the final thing that broke the pattern for me. So I think permission is a really powerful word. A friend of mine, when we were in grad school, we used to give each other formal invitations. We'd be talking about what we're stumbling on. The other one would go, this is a formal invitation for you to do the thing that you're wanting to do. Right. And we talked about like, we should start a business and we should create these formal invitations that you can send to your friends. And, it's a lot of those things that you get carried away with. And you're like, am I really going to do that? No, because I'm passionate about so many other different things. But yeah, I sort of gravitate to formal invitation as much as permission. They're sort of very similar for me. So yeah, I identify with that a lot. Yeah, that's great.
And doing it for ourselves.
Yes. We don't know how to do that very
Yeah.
well as women until we finally sort of, I think Diane Amelia, you talking about the divorce. Yeah, that can be total wreckage, right? You have to sort of wrap your mind around all the things that just happened and all the things you have to let go of. And there's a lot of permission you have to give yourself to unbind yourself from those ties that you've created. So yeah, especially after a relationship has been that long, right? 13 years. We were coming up on our 20th wedding anniversary. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to unpack and let go of. So yeah, a lot of permission granting. Yeah. All right, so tell me about this business thing how did you guys meet? How did you decide to start a business? How is it you've never met? Just get into that stuff.
It's the beauty of cyberspace.
Yes.
It
It's a much
is, right?
cyberspace, but this is just me soapboxing a little bit. Yes, there can be really crappy things on the internet and as a result of the internet, but that's what gets the airplay. And meanwhile, there are lots of cute puppy videos and burbling grandchildren and inspirational quotes, and
Yes.
cyberspace is filled with wonderful things, including opportunities to connect like we're doing here. I'm in Mexico. Tanya, you're in California. Teresa's in Nevada. If it weren't for technology, we wouldn't
Yes.
be having this maybe on a 3-way telephone call.
Yeah.
A bajillion years ago.
That was, on a landline.
When they finally invented three-way coffee.
right. But yeah, this is funny because Teresa and I can't pinpoint it.
We can't.
We met on a networking call. We may or may not have been in a breakout room together. That just remains part of the mystery. But we did feel enough simpatico to jump on a call together. And Teresa's got her own, would you call it a vlog or a podcast? Evolving Women?
I call it about podcasts.
Okay. Podcast. And she asked me to be a guest on her podcast. And in the course of that conversation, it was just like, we're working with a lot of the same people. And what if we did it together? And what if we did it this way? And what if we did it that way? And it's just been a really fun evolution. And we've gone through, what we do know is that we super enjoy working together.
Mhm.
And that what we bring together is a 1 + 1 = 3 kind of opportunity for the right clients, who are women who tend to throw their own self-care under the bus in order to keep all the plates spinning. And there are so many reasons for that, not the least of them being women given this badge of honor and distinction. Oh, she's so selfless. And then we as women like, oh, thank you. And that word sucks. Yeah, exactly. So there's between Teresa, so we each have our professional skills, but within those we overlap a lot. Like, we're both big into mindset and self-talk, and both very much into physical self-care. And just do not try to get between Teresa and her daily walk. You're going to get walked right over. Not in a mean way, just in a non-negotiable way. So we have a 3-month program that we either do with an individual or with a cohort, where we spend 3 months helping them craft a personal wellness plan that includes physical fitness, mindful eating, leaning into their strengths that Teresa helps bring to the fore, so that it's easeful and it doesn't feel like they're fighting themselves all the time, or they're trying to fit their little round self into a square hole. You get it. And
Yes.
in the 3 months together, women, it's like, oh, nope, that doesn't work. But rather than let her go away with the all or nothing kind of feeling, I screwed up again, I have to start over Monday. It's like, no, this is just information. And so let's tweak it. And maybe you had a day where everything went off the rails, but what's one 5-minute thing you did do to take care of yourself? There's the through line. It's the self-care. Some days I have 5 minutes. Some days I have 45 minutes. But every day I'm going to take care of myself. So there's no start a program, finish it, start another one. And if I don't get to the end, I screwed up. No, it's meant for life. It's meant to be yours for life. And so this program is not at all about making women do a fitness program or some structured thing. It's about teaching. And Teresa's got one arm and I've got the other with the woman in the middle. And we are just walking that journey with her so that she creates for herself something that actually feels aligned and good and livable.
Yeah. We use the word aligned a lot. Alignment. And that's where knowing their strengths come into play. Once they have a clearer understanding of who they are, what's important to them, what energizes them, what allows them to be most creative, most productive, most efficient, then we can use that information to help them customize and make better choices around their health and their self-care.
I love it because it's that idea of evolution, right? You're still carrying that thread line we've been talking about through this podcast, and alignment, which are two very important things, as we continue these journeys. And especially if you're trying to get outside of the box and the labels and the yellow stickers on your forehead and whatever people are telling you should be, you should. Yeah, you need to be in alignment and you need to be evolving.
Yeah. And it's less of a guessing game.
Right.
I know there's so much fitness, self-care, wellness, nutrition information coming at us constantly, especially if you've been paying attention for years. It's so confusing. Like you said, like we don't want anybody to be pigeonholed into a box and labeled a certain way. We want them to do things because it aligns with who they are and what energizes them and what brings them joy. So that's
Yeah.
all, that's our premise as well.
I think that, having done the Clifton strengths recently and still talking about them with the person that worked with me on getting that done, it's fascinating. It's so fascinating because you're right. They tell you all these things and they're like, it resonates, but then you're like, is she talking about me? Because I don't feel it that way. Like there's this weird push-pull that happens. For me, anyway, that's what happens.
Yep.
Like it resonated, definitely made me cry. I got emotional. And then at some points it was like, what?
Yep.
Like, I'm so confused.
Yep. And I think it's so natural for us. We're already operating from those strengths. It's so organic for us. It's so easy for us that we don't realize, we don't take the time to stop and actually look at what we're doing, why we're doing these, why these behaviors are playing out, because it is so natural for us. And we just assume everybody else feels or thinks the same way as us, but they don't. But we just assume that.
Yeah.
So when somebody actually points it out and brings our attention to it, then we can process it, think about it, lean into it, and then leverage that information, as I said, to make better choices.
Yeah, because I think one of the things I learned that's really low on my strengths, so it's not my strength, is it's something I keep telling myself I should be doing. And then she's like, and you shouldn't, because this isn't part of your strengths category, right? This isn't something, this is too hard for you. Like you're never going to succeed if you live in that place in your strengths, right? So it's fascinating.
There's your permission to let that go.
Yep. And it's more stressful when you're forcing yourself to do something that is not a high strength for you.
Right.
Teresa helped me understand something, and this was, I don't know, maybe within the last couple of weeks, T, but I grew up in a family where we lived by the checklist, and getting things done was a good thing, and being productive earned atta girl and earned love and all these kinds of things. And I'm really good at organizational stuff. So in my mind, I thought it was one of my superpowers. It is not. I'm good at it, but it is not organic to me. I learned it, and I learned it well, but I would really love to just foist all the organizational stuff off and do what is more aligned for me, which is spouting ideas. I could just sit and spout ideas and do nothing with them.
Yeah.
I need somebody with that passion to put my big ideas into action.
So do you think that your check boxes, because I do that, I'm a list maker, check them off, feel productive. Do you think that was a coping mechanism for you?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Because it aligned me with the humans in my house.
Yeah.
And as a little kid, they brought the food. So we all know you do, as kids, things to make your world
safer.
Safer,
right?
Right. You don't want to get kicked out of the pod. So, in my case, it was pretty harmless. I learned to live by checkboxes. But it was a way to keep my parents' love.
Yeah.
Not that I had to earn it. And that's the twist. Right. But that was my little kid, no analytical process. They're doing it. I need to do it too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's how
I
we're
was a
programmed.
Yeah, and I was programmed to be a people pleaser, the fixer of the
Mhm.
family, the one that sort of held everybody together. And so I had to, you know, put everybody else's needs first.
Yes.
Yeah, so I totally get that.
May I share a story? I don't know this person personally, but the story is impactful, if I
Yeah.
may share.
Yeah.
She's a mom, multiple kids. Her and one of the daughters were always butting heads. The relationship was not smooth. So once this daughter was old enough to take the strength assessment, she took it, and her mom, who is married to my mentor, who knows all about strength, they have a lot of strength knowledge in their family. Once she saw her daughter's results, she just was forcing her daughter to be a people pleaser, to be around people, to blah, blah, blah. She was forcing her, and the daughter was resisting. And what she ended up doing is she realized her daughter's not like that. That's not who she is. She's not a people person. She doesn't, connection is not important to her. So she went back and apologized to her daughter for
Wow.
forcing her. Oh, I'm getting all emotional about it. For
Wow.
forcing her into a box that she was never meant to be in. But once mom understood, oh, this is who she is, she felt the need to apologize. Everything shifted, of course, and their relationship improved after that.
Wow. That's amazing. That's
Go
amazing.
mom.
Yeah.
But she had that knowledge base.
Right.
How many
Right.
people don't have that knowledge base, and they're in a relationship that is really resistant, and they're not sure why.
Yeah.
So
That's a beautiful story.
Yeah. So the strengths knowledge is so helpful in terms of relationships.
Yeah.
With anybody, those in your family, those you're working with, those you're interacting in any way, shape, or form. Just knowing that I'm operating from my strengths and they're operating from their strengths, and we need to be accepting of each other.
Yeah.
So it's allowed me to be more accepting, for sure.
I
With
love that.
understanding.
I love that. Wow.
Teresa, did you start learning about this while you were still in the classroom?
I did not, but I wish I had known this information. Whew, that would have, shifted the way I approached kids, for sure.
Interesting.
So it's a powerful tool, even in a classroom or a group setting, in a business, in a, a small office setting. Being able to respect other people's strengths if you have a knowledge of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I can imagine how powerful that would be. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you ladies are going to meet soon, aren't you? In April?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First
in a
time.
month. First
And
time.
how long have you been business partners?
We think about 2 years, maybe over. Yeah. It's been a pretty good length of time.
Our origin story is really loose. It's like, we don't know where it was.
Like,
really
we may have been paired up in a group. We don't really know. We were on some networking call. We can't recall who it was. But at some point during a podcast, we decided we would be great together.
I do have the podcast. I do have proof of that. So
there's state mark right there. It was somewhere back then. That's great.
I love it. I love it. We're like, who cares about the details?
No, I'm one of
nobody cares. We're doing great.
You're right.
I love it.
And one of the things that we get to do in Santa Fe is run a workshop together. And one of the, this is one more little, if I may, a little identity story.
Yeah.
This workshop is going to be so awesome. And it's all about helping women rise physically. We're going to be getting down on the floor and back up, but also how to rise in society, how to rise emotionally, walking up the emotional energy scale. But the physical piece, which is, it feels especially important to me, ties to my business that is, I'm going to say separate from Teresa's, but now, I mean, it all feels molded together. But I started a fitness business when I was 60. And this is another point in time where people said, really? Really? Do you have any background? No. You're 60 years old and you're going to start a fitness business. Yep. And I wanted and still want to do that. I mean, the business is 8 years old now. I want women to know how strong their bodies can be, how everything we're told about, well, it's just aging, is really, you know what, I think in sign language, this, can you see this?
Mhm.
It's bull. What we're told about our bodies and
Is
aging.
bullshit.
That could be our secret.
I love that.
our
I'm
secret-
funny. I caught the little at the end. And I
hear
was
the
like, oh yeah,
noise.
that bull is shitting.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. That's like our secret handshake. Okay. So
When we see each other in Santa Fe, we'll just hit the horns on. We'll just go,
oh, I love that.
"That's
Yeah,
hilarious."
but it is my deep belief that we are so mal-served as women 50 and beyond with information, assumptions, beliefs that we have breathed in over a lifetime, that there is an automatic and non-negotiable decay that happens, and it's all downhill from here.
Yeah. Oh my
and
gosh.
and all of that, and I'm in the best shape of my life, and I did not start that until 60.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm learning as I age. Is it's getting better.
Mhm.
It's getting better. Like, forget what they told you. It's getting better.
Right. Love that.
Yeah. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be in your workshop. I'm definitely signing up for that because I will see you in Santa Fe. I just want to know who's going to be there when you meet each other for the first time in person. I hope there's a camera involved.
And we're doing this.
Yes.
We're doing sign language for bullshit. I love it.
Yeah, that's random, right?
Oh, you'll be
Are
the
you
only
meeting
one
at
that
the
knows.
airport? Are you rooming together? Are you meeting just like happenstance at the registration table? Like, how's this going to play out?
This is so good. We're sharing a one-bed Airbnb.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're just diving right in.
Yeah, right.
Sleeping together next to each other at night. I love how women are just like, I don't care. I travel with a really good friend of mine. We go to these salsa congresses, and then we're like, we have 2 beds, and then we're like, do we want to get somebody else to bring the cost down, and we'll just share a bed?
Yep. Oh, I've done that myself as well.
Yeah, it's like,
I don't
we
even know
don't
these
care.
people. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you've gone to any kind of conference or large event,
Yeah.
we're all piled into rooms together.
Exactly.
Well, it's just how we've been. I mean, I feel like as girls, we do that at sleepovers. And then I had a
Good one.
girlfriend move in with me in high school. I had a double bed. We slept in the same bed through our high school years. And then her best friend from her other school used to come over and spend the night a lot.
3 of you?
Yeah. And we would all 3 sleep in my double bed.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And we never thought twice about it. And
Right.
so
right.
even as I get older, I like getting and sleeping next to a woman in a bed is like, whatever.
Any human being, huh?
Any human being.
Yep.
Yeah. It's just,
I think
We're
I would
slumber
feel
party.
a little weird if it was a man that I wasn't in a relationship with. I'd be like, please don't hit on me. So I would like to say human being, but for me, I feel pretty much like it's women that I'm okay with.
Yeah.
So
So we all evolve, become
way back in
wiser.
history, there was a thing called a bundling board. I don't know what the name
Yeah, I
was,
remember that. Yeah.
But
I
it
don't
was-
remember it, but I heard about it.
it was a board that went between two people sleeping in the same bed so that there would be no contact
Right, right.
because beds were not it was just-
Ginormous.
they weren't enormous and they
Yes.
weren't abundant and
Mhm.
you know, so for people
Well,
with
couples lived in twin beds. Like I remember I Love Lucy. They had twin beds.
Mhm, mhm.
You know, the movies, the shows that we grew up on, parents did not sleep in the same bed.
Right.
And I remember watching that. Now, my parents slept in the same bed, but I do know that sort of history, you know, and it's why when people talk about at the end of my marriage, we didn't sleep in the same bedroom because he worked late. He came home after midnight. He was food and beverage. And he would always wake me up when he came into the bed and he would always fall asleep snoring. He would like be halfway down to hitting his pillow and he was already asleep snoring.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. And he said one day, do you want me to just sleep in the guest room? And I was like, that would be amazing. Thank you for that gift. Right. And some people might find that weird, but it was like, it was about sleep hygiene, right?
Yeah.
You're waking me
Yeah.
up, you're disturbing my sleep. I'm already having a hard time sleeping because I'm in perimenopause, you know, so it was already a train wreck. And I was like, nothing interesting happens there after dark either, because we had moved to daytime people. So I was like, I'm good with that. I don't care what bed you sleep in, as long as it's in our house.
Yeah. I don't think it's as weird as you might think, from my
It's
understanding.
not. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the more women I talk
common.
to,
Yep.
especially as they get older, they're not sharing bedrooms with their husbands because, you know,
Mhm.
sleep becomes a priority. And,
Yeah.
you
yeah.
know, and yeah, so interesting little tangent there. But
a friend of mine, I don't know why we were talking about this, but my husband and I were out with this other couple and they have a king bed. And they said, yeah, we never intersect. And he said, sex is sex and love is love, but sleep is sleep.
so true. I was
That's good.
against a king bed in my marriage because I thought we'll live on separate islands, right? And so we always had a queen and it always worked out fine. But I think now if I were to get into a relationship, first of all, I think we should have separate bedrooms. But if we didn't have separate bedrooms, a king size bed would be the best thing.
Yep. Those things
Yeah.
are huge, man.
Yeah, they are,
So
especially the California king. Anyway, well, it was great talking with you ladies today. I love it. What's the name of your company?
The vitality.
Vitality Continuum.
The Vitality Continuum. I love it. Well, all the information is going to be in the show notes so people can find you and your contact information. And I can't wait to meet you. I'm so excited. At the same time, you're meeting each other. That's going to be so fun. And I can't wait to take your workshop. But it was such an honor to have you ladies on here today. Thank you so much for coming
Tanya,
on.
thank you for the
Yeah.
opportunity to
Yeah.
hang
Thank
out.
you so much.
I love having two people on here with me. That was super fun. Thank you. All right. We're going to call it to top for now and
Yay.
see you ladies on the flip side.
See you soon.
Bye.